Great morning. Thanks for tuning in. You're watching the F&O Show on Bloomberg Quint Live, India's first digital live streaming business news service. I'm Navneet Saluja D'Souza. Well, let's quickly tell you what's happening with the markets. It's not been a great start to this new week. Remember, the Indian markets, as it is, were underperforming the global markets for the last 4 weeks. We've had negative returns, but the gap down opening, which has come today, is clearly on back of the global cues that we are getting once again. And today is the day for the currency market, where we've seen depreciation coming in for the Chinese yuan, which has crossed that important threshold of 7 for the first time since 2008, and the clear impact seen for Indian rupee as well, which has crossed the mark of 70 today, trading at 70.48 to the dollar, depreciation of almost 1.2%. Remember, last week the currency depreciated by about 1%. But talking about the markets, pull up Nifty, Bank Nifty and Sensex. It's red across the board, be it benchmark indices or be it the broader market indices. So 1.5% cut for the Nifty 50. It's, by the way, breached the Friday low of 10,849, and Sensex also sitting with cuts of about closer to 600 points. The Bank Nifty is down 700 points. There are a lot of banks, private, public sector, where aggressive selling pressure has come in. Pull up the market breadth. That's going to give you a better picture of the entire listed universe of national stock exchanges. Look at that. It's almost 1:6 as we speak. So there are a lot of declines which are coming in today's trade. India Volatility Index, which was up nearly 25% last week, and last week or last 2 to 3 weeks, we also had domestic factors to tackle with, but today it's solely global and 14% higher for India VIX, now trading above the mark of 17 handle, 17.3s for India VIX. And all your sectoral indices have seen cuts from the likes of metals, autos, which were as it is reeling under pressure, but one sector which is showing you some bit of strength, and that's owing to some depreciation which is coming into the Indian rupee, and that's the IT pack. The Nifty IT is seeing some bit of ticks. In fact, the couple of gainers that you're seeing for Nifty constituents today, TCS, HCL, Wipro, all of them are seeing some bit of, but actually that's also given up most of the gains that we've seen since the morning session. So quickly, let me tell you on the option side what sort of levels you should watch out. And it's the day once again where we are witnessing more of call writing, which has come in on strikes like 10,900, which has added 15 lakh shares. The 11,000 call strike has added 10 lakh shares. The maximum open interest on the call side is at the 11,000 strike, and on the put, it is at the 10,800 strike. And the put writers of 10,900 have been running for cover. So today, as we speak, almost 3.5 lakh shares have been shed there. The next level probably now to be watched out will be the 2019 lows, or rather the lows which we had seen at the start of the year. And we've also wiped out the gains which were seen for Nifty this year. Now, by the way, we are in the red, though marginally for the year, but still we are in the red. Okay, so those are the cues that we're getting so far from the markets. And just want to address a couple of stock futures where open interest gains have been seen in today's trade. A lot of earnings reactions have also come by. So let's just pull up that plate. Ujjivan Financial, where open interest has gained 17%. No major reaction seen to the stock. However, Bata reacting positively to the numbers today, a long position seen. And Just Dial, Reliance, Intra, State Bank of India, a couple of your other stocks where OI gains have been seen. On the losing side, let's pull up that plate as well. Torrent Power, Jindal Steel and Power recording its fresh 52-week low almost every single day. Reliance Capital, Britannia, and alongside Vodafone Idea, all these stocks have been seen unwinding when it comes to the open interest of the stock futures. So these are the stocks which are moving around in today's session, but particularly 3 stocks where we would like to take views from our experts would be the biggie Reliance Industries, where some downgrade has come in from Credit Suisse. The target which they've given is 995 from an earlier target of 1350. Owing to that, that's been a big drag on the index. Equitas is the other one which is trading below all its key moving averages. Sharp fall has come in for this stock. It's one of the top F&O loser for the day. And lastly, I was mentioning about the IT pack, which are bucking the trend today, owing to some tailwind being created on back of rupee depreciation. The stock was up about closer to 5% last week as well. So these are the stocks where we would be taking views on. But before we get to our guest on the show, here's a reminder for you all. If you have any queries in the futures and options market, please call us now on 022-4540-4141. You can also write to us on our social media platforms, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook with Ask BQ hashtag. Let's welcome our experts then. Abhijit Phatak from DefineNet Solutions and Gaurav Bisa of LKP Securities join us this morning. Good morning to both of you. Gaurav, let me come to you first. It's not been a great start to this Monday morning, especially after what we've seen in the last few trading sessions. What should one do? Is there any strategy that you would recommend either on Nifty or on Bank Nifty for today?
Good morning. You mentioned quite correctly in the beginning of the show that we have broken the previous panic low around of 10,848.50, and now we're trading below those levels. I'm waiting for some more clarity, some more stability. There's a support that we can talk about at levels of 10,800 on the spot side. If you talk of the Nifty future, the India has formed a bullish harmonic. We call it a cipher pattern that has got triggered at levels of 10,820, 825. So if these levels were to be sustained, one can buy Nifty futures, but I would still wait some time. There's one more event that is about to get some clarity upon the J&K issue. If there's some clarity on that part, at least Nifty will get some stability. So my only concern is that I would buy Nifty a little bit higher levels. If Nifty future sustains above levels of 10,850, 855, keep a stop loss of 40 points on the upside. 10,950 is what I would be playing for, and we can see a decent recovery today itself. Even though the Asian markets are quite weak, I would still be hoping for a bounce back if we are to sustain levels of 10,850 on the Nifty future.
Let's see if there is any sort of bounce back that we saw, especially in Friday's trade, where there was a good recovery of nearly 120 to 130 points on Nifty. 10,840 is where the August futures are currently trading. It's a cut of about 1.6%. Abhijit, hi. Would you take any fresh trade on the index this morning after a gap down opening?
Good morning, Naveed. No, actually, no. Even I agree with Gaurav that 10,800 spot is what I am looking at, and it has broken that. But as long as it is trading above that, there is a chance of a bounce at least intraday. And unless I see a base formation near this 10,800, 10,820 on the spot, it might take a couple of days. It's not going to run away immediately. I don't think so. So it's better to wait for a couple of days and then take necessary longs. Or if it is closing below 10,800, then it will be very, very weak and it might go towards 10,600.
Okay, so waiting for those crucial levels, and then both our experts are advising to take a trade in 10,800, which was briefly breached for today. After that, there was a bit of bounce back, but crucial to see whether in the second half of the session, whether we do see some more cuts coming about for the index or not. And of course, the closing will be very important to monitor now. Gaurav, what about individual stock futures? But are you seeing any interesting trends there where you would be advising some trades?
When the markets are quite choppy, always remain with the stocks that are still bucking the trend, which are still looking quite strong. So one of them would be Asian Paints, where we saw it had given a breakout last week, about 9.5%, 10% long position was seen getting on Friday's trade. Today also it is trading above the breakout level. So this is one name that one should be looking at. I would keep a stop loss of 1,505, 10 on the upside, levels of anywhere around 1570, 1580 is what I would be looking at. So Asian Paint is one name that should be on radar. It is retesting the breakout levels. So that is one that is looking interesting. Second would be buy on HCL Tech. We have seen that IT has been relatively stable so far. The USD INR also tilts in their favor. And even though if you look at the names like Infosys and TCS, they are retesting the breakout levels and now bouncing higher. For HCL Tech, it has been trading a rising channel. There's a bullish harmonic pattern at levels of 1,000. It has touched the 1,000 mark. I would recommend buying HCL Tech futures. Keep a stop loss of 980 on the upside. 1,030, 1,040 is what I would be looking at.
Those are some safe bets coming from Gaurav Bisa. Asian Paints, which has been trading around its all-time high levels on Friday. Today, there is some profit booking seen with markets also turning weak. And the other long bet is for HCL Technologies. Abhijit, what about you? Your individual stock ideas for today?
Yeah, I have one long and one short. The long is TCS on any dip to 22.35, 22.40 with a stop loss below 22.20. I expect TCS to go on towards 2,300 in the coming days. And Yes Bank below the day low, which is around 80, that will be very weak, and it might go towards 75 or maybe even 65 in the coming days. So below, if Yes Bank closes below the day low, it is going to be extremely weak.
Okay, and Yes Bank is also one of your top F&O losers for the day. Short call coming in from Abhijit. Very sharp cuts seen in today's trade for a couple of these private banks like Yes Bank and also RBL Bank. Time to take a look at a couple of stocks that where we wanted to take views from our experts. So the biggie Reliance, which has nearly 10% weightage in the index, that's also weighing on the index today, 3% lower. And today's cuts, by the way, have come in from the downgrade because of the report which came in from Credit Suisse, where they've also cut the target price to 990. 13.95 from 13.50, and 3.5%. No major build-up actually coming in when it comes to the open interest. But Gaurav, the sort of cuts we've seen for Reliance, I think last 2 days it was trying to lend some support to Nifty, but today because of the downgrade, it has had a gap down opening. It's been trading below 200-day moving average. Any trade do you see on Reliance at 11.50?
At the current levels, it might not be a good trade. It did form a bullish harmonic pattern because the cipher pattern, it got triggered at levels of 11.50. It's at the trigger level only, but I would give it some more time. It moved up a bit, and now again we have seen price rejection happening at 1200 mark. So that will be a little bit unfavorable for the name. Having said, there's one big positive. If you look at the weekly charts, it has a very strong support at levels of 1100. This is also the level where on the weekly charts we are seeing, if you talk about Ichimoku charts and the bullish cloud or the Kumo, the support is placed at levels of 1100. So in all likelihood, we may not break, Reliance may not break 1100 mark for next couple of days at least. And if that were to sustain, we can see the upward trajectory being continued. So in my opinion, any dip of even 1 or 2% from here can be bought, keep a stop loss of 1100, and on the upside 1200 is what I would be looking at.
Okay, so at lower levels, at about 1100 is something Gaurav is suggesting to monitor on the downside, where you can look to take some long positions. But in the last 3 months, definitely the stock's been weak. It's down about 18 to 19% in trade. The other one is Equitas Holdings. It's one of the top F&O losers for the day. Pull up that stock. We've seen 8.5% cut coming about, but I think majority of the sell-off has come in because of the cash segment. No major open interest build-up seen on the future side, at least so far. The stock's down 17% for this year. It's been trading below all its key moving averages. Of course, the numbers came out, and some bit of deterioration definitely seen when it came to the asset quality on sequential basis. Abhijit, Equitas 8.5% lower at 104. Any trade on the downside?
Yeah, it is a short on rise, definitely. It has been a very, very weak stock, and of course it's going to be a bit dicey to short it now. But unless it, it is very weak, and on any rise, maybe of course the stop loss is 115. Again, it's after such a big decline, it's very difficult to go short. But one should definitely not try any longs here. And 110, 115 is the level which I'm looking at. As long as it is below that, it is going to be weak.
Okay, the third stock we wanted to discuss was TCS. Remember, Abhijit's given a long call on TCS futures. He suggested to buy on dips of 2230 to 2235, and he's given a target price of 2300. And IT as a pack has been doing well because Gaurav has also given a long call on HCL Technologies. So I'll just move ahead and just address few stocks. Pull up the intraday chart of Bajaj Auto. I think that's recovered from the lows. It had a gap down opening, and now the stock's trading just about flattish in trade. And pull up HDFC as well, which came out with its numbers on Friday. Stable set of numbers, and this too is seeing some positive ticks. So very 4 to 5 stocks among the Nifty constituents are seeing some bit of positive ticks from the likes of TCS, Bharti Airtel, Infosys, Bajaj Auto and HDFC. So Bharti Airtel, Gaurav, I'm going to come to you for Bharti Airtel. Post the numbers, we've seen some move coming on the upside for this one, and usually any move on the upside on Bharti Airtel tends to fizzle out. But today in a weak market also, it's sitting with some amount of gains, at least 0.5% after a sharp move seen on Friday. Any trade on Bharti Airtel at levels of 345?
If you look at the daily chart, it has been trading in a rising channel, and the supports were seen at levels of 327, 330, but it's up about 5% from those levels. So at these levels, I would not be too interested. It has an immediate hurdle at levels of 352, 355. So any dip towards 335 is what I would be hoping for, and can buy at those levels. But below that, I think above that, the risk was just not favorable. So if somebody wants to buy only on lower levels, not at the current prices.
Okay, that's Bharti Airtel. Let's start taking some queries. Harshavardhan on YouTube writes to us, and he's short on the August put strike of 98, for which he's paid a premium of about 6.15 rupees. He wants to know how to hedge his position. So let's just pull up the stock, and particularly the strike. That's the 98 put strike, which he shorted at about 6.75, and the premium has actually gone up for that, and the underlying is trading at 87. Abhijit, I'm going to come to you. He wants to know how to hedge his position since he's shorted and the premium has also gone up. What would you advise him to do?
I'm sorry, I didn't get the stock.
It's Federal Bank 98 put strike, which he's written at a premium of 6.15, and the current premium is 8.75. He wants to know how to hedge this position.
Yeah, right now Federal Bank is showing some strength from the lows, and it is getting bought, and it has shown a good pattern on an intraday chart. So if that goes towards 90, 91, he should look at his position and square off it. If it crosses 91, then I think his put should be safe, put short should be safe. But he should use the stop loss he should use is the high of the day for the put.
Okay, so that's the view coming in, Harsha. The other query is from Tamil Selvam on Bank Nifty. He's asking if this is a good time to buy both call and put of the same strike. So he's suggesting if it is good time to execute the long straddle strategy on the Bank Nifty. Gaurav, what would you advise?
We have already seen a strong downfall today. Generally, what happens when you buy or sell a straddle or a strangle after a strong up move or down move, the IVs, the premiums tend to get inflated already. And if there's some amount of consolidation, then that might not work in your favor. So if you want to buy a straddle or strangle at this point in time, I think that would not be a right strategy. There can be a jump of 150, 200 points here and there. But would that give you a push to your premiums? I don't think so. So for me, this is not a time that one should be initiating a strategy. There are multiple hurdles ahead, and a consolidation would severely go against you.
Okay, that's Bank Nifty for you. Before we wrap, just want to address the metal space. The Nifty Metals Index has been underperforming in last many days. Abhijit, we've got stocks like Tata Steel, Jindal Steel, JSW, Hindalco. All of them are seeing very sharp cuts in today's trade. Anyone would you pick to go short on?
No, all have opened gap down, so it's going to be difficult to go short in them. If someone is short, he can hold it with the stop loss just below today's high. But fresh shorts, I would not like to advise because the stop loss is quite far off.
Okay, so not advising to take any fresh short position on the metal stock. Just want to address the markets. We did breach the 10,800 mark and we're trading around that level right now. The broader markets are seeing more pain, almost 3% cuts coming in for the small cap index, and the mid cap index is down nearly 2%. All your sectoral indices are trading with cuts. Some meager gains seen for ID, which is lending some bit of support to the market today, but that's not enough to curtail the fall. In terms of individual stock futures in today's trade, Nestle has reacted positively to its numbers, so that's up 3%. Pidilite, Bata, TCS, just these are the stocks which are doing well. And on the losing side, there are a whole host of losers. Equitas down 9%. Dish TV, by the way, has seen cuts of about 8% today. And your high beta momentum stocks, Dewan Housing, Yes Bank, are seeing cuts of between 7 to 8%. So the picture is not looking great at all for this Monday morning. On that note, I would like to thank both our experts, Gaurav as well as Abhijit, for joining us today and taking us through your views on the markets. And for more updates in the F&O space, you can also check our website, bloombergquint.com, and that's the futures page on the screen. With that, it's a wrap. Thanks a lot for watching. For more news and updates, stay tuned to Bloomberg Quint.